Hey cat lovers, and welcome back to another video. Throughout US history, there have been 45 presidents in the White House. Almost all of them, except 3, had pets. From dogs to birds to the occasional alligator, many pets have passed through the walls of the White House, including cats. If you enjoy this kind of content, subscribe to the channel for more cat videos. Now, let's reveal which US presidents had cats, as well as some fun facts about them. Number 1. President Abraham Lincoln. The first US president to have cats in the White House was Abraham Lincoln, the 16th president. Lincoln was said by many to be a huge cat lover. He apparently greatly enjoyed the company of cats, and his wife, Mary Todd Lincoln, reportedly said that cats were his hobby. As such, Lincoln had 2 cats during his presidential term, Tabby and Dixie. They were given to him by the Secretary of State, William Seward, as a gift. Reportedly, Lincoln was enamored with the cats. He was allegedly remarked that Dixie was smarter than most of the members of his cabinet. Okay, that joke alone deserves a like button click, just saying. Lincoln would also take in stray cats to care for them, including 3 kittens that he found while visiting General Ulysses S. Grant during the final stages of the Civil War. Number 2. President Rutherford B. Hayes. Rutherford B. Hayes, the 19th President of the United States, had a Siamese cat named Siam. Hayes's Siamese cat is much more well-known. The cat, Siam, is the first documented Siamese cat to arrive in the United States of America. Siam, the mahogany-colored Siamese cat, was a gift to Hayes from David B. Sickles, the U.S. Consulate of Bangkok, who read that Lucy Hayes, the First Lady, was a cat lover. Unfortunately, Siam passed away only a year after she arrived in the United States after falling ill. Number 3. President Theodore Roosevelt. Of all the U.S. presidents, the 26th President, Theodore Roosevelt, had the most pets during his presidential term. Along with a myriad of different pets, including snakes and hyenas, Roosevelt had 2 cats. The most famous was Slippers. Slippers was a bluish-gray tabby cat who had 6 toes on her paws. Because of this, she is referred to as a polydactyl cat. Polydactyl means having more than the normal number of fingers and toes. Aside from her extra toes, Slippers was also known for her lack of decorum when it came to official government proceedings. One story said that on January 11, 1906, at a diplomatic corps meeting, Slippers decided to take a nap right in the middle of the cross hall, directly in the way of Roosevelt and Baroness Hengenmuller, the wife of a Hungarian ambassador. Roosevelt's other cat, Tom Quartz, was said to be a blue tomcat who was particularly large. He was named after a cat in Mark Twain's novel Roughing It. According to Roosevelt himself, Tom Quartz was the most cunning cat he had ever met and was quite a mischievous but affectionate cat. Number 4. President Woodrow Wilson. Woodrow Wilson, the 28th President of the United States, had 2 cats named Puffins and Mittens. However, there is little that is known about these cats. Unlike some of the other presidential cats, there are few stories and anecdotes surrounding Wilson's cats. The only detail that we have of the 2 cats is that they reportedly enjoyed jumping up on the dinner table at the White House. Number 5. President Calvin Coolidge. Calvin Coolidge, the 30th President of the United States, had 4 cats while he was in office. These cats, named Tiger, Blackie, Bounder, and Timmy, are the source of quite a few entertaining anecdotes. Tiger, affectionately referred to as Tigey by Coolidge, often spent time sprawled around the president's neck. He would also occasionally wander off, once warranting a radio broadcast to ensure his safe return. Blackie is also said to have enjoyed the great outdoors, but when he was inside, he liked to spend time in the White House elevator. Bounder enjoyed splashing around in water. Timmy, interestingly, loved birds. It is said that his best friend was Coolidge's canary, Caruso. There is even a photo of them together in the Library of Congress. Aside from his domestic cats, Coolidge also had a few less traditional cats during his time in the White House. He also had 2 lion cubs, humorously named Tax Reduction and Budget Bureau, as well as a bobcat named Smokey. Number 6. President John F. Kennedy. For a short period, a cat was living in the White House with the 35th President of the United States, John F. Kennedy. The cat, named Tom Kitten, belonged to Kennedy's daughter, Caroline. Just a few weeks into Tom Kitten's stay at the White House, however, he was moved to a safer house as he triggered the president's allergies. Number 7. President Gerald Ford. Gerald Ford, the 38th U.S. president, had just one cat, a Siamese cat named Shawn. After Siam, Rutherford beat Hayes's cat, Shawn is the second Siamese cat to live in the White House. Shawn actually belonged to Ford's daughter, Susan. It is said that Shawn spent her days lounging around the White House, particularly under the bed in the Lincoln bedroom. Apparently, Shawn did not get along with the Ford's golden retriever, Liberty, at all. Number 8. President Jimmy Carter. After Shawn left the White House, another Siamese cat quickly took her spot. The 39th President of the United States, Jimmy Carter, also had a Siamese cat named Misty Malarkey Young. He was the pet of Carter's daughter, Amy. Interestingly, the cat was memorialized by Hungarian guitarist Gabor Szabo in the 1977 jazz guitar composition called Misty Malarkey Young. Misty Malarkey Young also seemed to be a fan of the spotlight, getting press when he walked down the White House's grand staircase during a state dinner. Number 9. President Bill Clinton. Bill Clinton, the 42nd U.S. president, had arguably the most famous presidential cat in U.S. history, Socks. A tuxedo cat, Socks was adopted by the Clintons as a stray in Arkansas. It is said that Socks randomly jumped into the arms of Clinton's daughter, Chelsea, one day as she was leaving piano practice. As his name suggests, he had black fur with white paws that made him look like he was wearing socks. Socks became a bit of a phenomenon during his time in the White House, quickly becoming an icon in media and pop culture. He was taken to press events, visited schools and hospitals, and was even featured on the White House website as a cartoon. There was even a book written about him and the Clintons' chocolate Labrador retriever, Buddy, called Dear Socks, Dear Buddy. Even though they shared the spotlight in the book, however, it is said that Buddy and Socks did not get along very well in real life. Number 10. President George W. Bush. The 43rd President of the United States, George W. Bush, also had a cat. India, a black domestic short-hair cat, was less well-known than her predecessor, Socks. Most of the spotlight went to the Bush's two Scottish Terriers, Barney and Miss Beasley. However, India, also sometimes referred to as Willie, was known to enjoy the presidential library. She made an iconic appearance on the White House South Lawn in 2007 for Halloween, where she was dressed up as a wizard to celebrate the holiday. She also occasionally made appearances on Barney Cam, a video series aired during the holidays from 2002 to 2008 featuring the dogs. Number 11. President Joe Biden. The most recent cat to live in the White House was the pet of Joe Biden, the 46th President of the United States. Willow, a gray tabby cat, joined the Bidens in the White House in January 2022. Like Socks, Willow seemed to have chosen her family directly. She was a farm cat from western Pennsylvania, but in 2020, she interrupted a speech Dr. Jill Biden was giving at a campaign stop by jumping on stage. The First Lady said she immediately bonded with Willow and ended up adopting her soon afterwards. Willow was named after Dr. Jill Biden's hometown, Willow Grove, Pennsylvania. After her adoption, Willow quickly rose to fame and became another beloved presidential pet. To close out our list, we could not forget about Martin Van Buren. While he didn't have cats in the traditional sense, he did have two tigers. Van Buren was allegedly gifted the tigers by the Sultan of Muscat and Oman, Said bin Sultan. However, it is said that he was quickly forced by Congress to donate the tigers to a zoo. Alongside cats, many other pets have lived in the White House throughout the years. While just 11 U.S. presidents have had cats, almost all have had pets. Only 3 presidents, James K. Polk, Andrew Johnson, and Donald Trump, have not had presidential pets. 30 of 45 presidents had a dog, the most famous of which were Laddie Boy, an Airedale Terrier of Warren G. Harding, Fala, a Scottish Terrier from Franklin D. Roosevelt, and King Tut, a Belgian Shepherd of Herbert Hoover. Among the more interesting presidential pets were 2 grizzly bear cubs gifted to Thomas Jefferson, an alligator belonging to John Quincy Adams, and a pygmy hippopotamus belonging to Calvin Coolidge. Theodore Roosevelt is most well known for his presidential pets, owning many dogs, cats, a badger, a black bear, a hyena, an owl, a lion, and many more. There have been many powerful people to walk the halls of the White House, and there have also been some pretty powerful cats. As always, we would love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. Now that you know who the first cats of the United States were, we invite you to check out one of these possum videos next. We'll see you there, cat lovers!